Hey, this is Jake Asman. You're checking out Drunk Sports Talk.
Q, I'm going to go to you first. My question to you is, we know Wilkes is gone, right? Muji's new in here. He's made some good moves. Between him and Douglas, they've kind of got that off. The one thing they did do was get that offensive line right. They needed a little more depth. They're gonna have to probably draft another safety, a couple other little things, a wide receiver. But not to be long winded, is Aaron Glenn seat getting a little bit warm in your opinion?
I think so. I think so. And you have to think about it too, right? Because when you're the head coach, you know, you're at the top. You're at the top seat. You know what I mean? At the
Yeah,
dinner table, bro. You the head of. You know what I mean? You're not the GM or the owner. But
yeah.
as it comes to the locker room, you the guy who all the accountability has to go to. And for a defensive minded head coach to have to fire the guy that he hired to be his defensive coordinator because now it's looking like
Coordinate.
because you know what, like this shit bugging me out. It's bugging me out because it's like like if I was a Jet fan and I'm not, but I'm a New York fan.
Yeah.
But if I was a diehard Jet fan, I would be furious because you telling me two defensive minded dudes can't somehow figure out what the fuck to do? Like, can't get down into the table and watch the tape and get the players together?
Steve Wilkes been fired from a
I,
lot of.
I,
I never thought Steve Wilkes was the guy, but go ahead.
no, and that's what I'm saying. But you know what? That's the head coach's guy. That's the guy that you chose to lead this franchise. To a better position and a better, some type of at least better view and better culture. He has to establish this with the team, and for him to lose faith in that already. You know what I mean? Like then he's already knowing that now this could work two ways. He could either know and just probably he did it because he knew he made a mistake,
Yeah.
and he could either hopefully learn from this, but or it could always go the other way, which I know a lot of Jet fans are thinking about too, where it's going to be like, wow, this is just the beginning of the boulder at the top of the hill, and now the avalanche of snowball is just going to be bigger and bigger as it fucking keeps tumbling down. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't have these type of decision makings, happen this quickly at your tenure of your new position. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty alarming to me. And I'm not, and some people could depict this take as, oh man, it sounds like he wants him to get fired. No, but it's definitely a questionability upon
Yep.
his hiring ability and his decision making on the people that he wants to, you know, take on these responsibility that he knows he can't, right? Because you're no longer defensive coordinator, man. You're defensive minded coach, but you gotta sometimes get in there. Like if you're an offensive minded coach, help the coordinator sometimes, right? Help the coach, help the quarterback coach sometimes, right? Like you gotta step in there and do the dirty work. So now I'm hoping this is not, some type of, depiction of his leadership role. I'm just hoping that he just made a one-off mistake and just hired the wrong guy that we all knew was going to be, a 50-50 coin toss. But, the next one is going to be a real the real decision maker and saying, hey, you are defensive minded. Now you need to fill these seats with people that we need to make sure can get these players to perform regardless if you have A1 product here. You know what I mean? We need it to look like it's A1 because even when the shit was just a mess and the culture was just dismal, they were still performing even though they wasn't scoring points. Now their offense looks a little bit better, and they have the guys to make sure that they're getting them to be able to lead them in the right path of what the Jets need to be doing. And it
Yep.
still feels like they can't do it, and you know what I mean. Like it's just that's worrisome, and hopefully the ownership would understand that, especially the GM now because he's involved in hiring the guy who fired the guy his first 14 weeks, you know what I mean, or 15 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Just a good take, Jay.
It's very similar to I don't know. There's a movie. It's Desperado, and there's in Desperado there's a scene where um, he tells the story, and he's like a supreme gangster. He gets busy or whatever, and then the gangsters get the drop on him, and they pull up on him, and he's with his whole family and everything like that, and they got his wife and all the other shit. He kills his wife and the kids. Fuck that. Just to let y'all know, this is where we're at. I'd rather lose them than to live another day like this. Then he killed all of them and got going.
You talking about Sicario?
Sicario, that's what it is, Sicario, right? The thought process is very much the same of what you saw with
them Sicarios were sick, but yeah.
It's very much the same with what you saw with fucking with Aaron Glenn. He knows that it's getting hot under him. So what's he got to do? I mean, I'll kill my wife first. Just to let y'all know that I mean business. I ain't going no fucking where. I brought him in. I'll take him out, right? But to be more serious, this team was doomed from the beginning. This team was doomed on the offensive side of the ball, and unfortunately, it destroyed the defensive side of the ball. We brought in that kid, Justin Fields, as if he was going to be some form of a savior or something, and it was a horrible fucking decision.
Terrible play.
We absolutely we alienated, and we joked around about the Aaron Rodgers thing, and I don't know that Aaron was the right guy. It was all we had at that point, so maybe we should have choked.
I think you should have kept him, but God, look what he's doing with the Steelers. Now he's not lighting up, but he's keeping you in games.
And again, maybe he does that. Maybe he doesn't do that here, or maybe he does. We'll never know.
Right.
But the long and the short is, he would have been a much better option than Justin Fields.
Justin Fields can't throw the fucking ball.
Right, he can't throw the football.
It's crazy.
And when you have a guy that can't throw the football, unfortunately, it puts an additional level of stress on your defense because they stay on the fucking field. They're on the field all game, bro.
That's a fact.
They were on the field all game. So
all them 3 and outs.
All them 3 and outs, and they're back out there. These fuckers are just getting their helmets off, getting a squirt of the motherfucking Gatorade, and they're like, no, guys.
Keep going back up. Don't even take your helmet off.
Don't even take your shit off. So with that being said, the defense absolutely did not look strong, but I don't know that any defense would have looked that strong if they're on the field as often as they were. So I don't want to kill the defense. And then you have a fire sale, and you get rid of your 2 best players on defense in hopes of picking up picks that make some future decisions and some future moves that might fuel this team somewhere along the line.
They did get some good draft capital for the motherfuckers.
Absolutely.
They got a lot.
They got some shit this year. If they do it right, they could get busy.
And now what has to be done is they got to figure out a way to come in dead last so they get the number 1 pick. They have to get this kid Mendoza.
We'll hook him up.
Right.
We'll trade down. Hook y'all up.
You guys have said at the quarterback position, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think right now you are number 1.
Right now we're number 1.
Pick, right?
Who knows if we're going to end up like that, but I think I don't think we'd have any problems doing business with the Jets. We're not in the same conference.
Fuck it. Why not? Let's get some business
for a couple of picks to get,
to show up yourself in certain areas. And I know you guys.
I'll give us Mitchell.
No, hold on.
Kid Mitchell's nice.
I like him, bro. I like him.
I like Mitchell.
I like him. He last week he didn't do too good this week, but last week he blew up the spot. And I don't